Hey guys, Sonic Smash Bros. Here with a Yu-Gi-Oh! Video for once, even though the Salt and Double Standards one was technically a Yu-Gi-Oh! Related video, that was more of a general thing. This is more directly a Yu-Gi-Oh! Video, but getting on to the main point. Synchro Summoning. Making its debut in 2008, it's held up as a major part of the game, and even does to this very day. Although Synchro-centered decks kinda fell by the wayside until Draconet got their time to shine in Rising Rampage, Synchros, however, don't just have to rely on Dragoonies. They can still make the likes of Shooting Quasar Dragon with a combo that ends on both level 12 boss dragons, a 7-card draw, and the best part is, said combo only takes 1 card. Let's get straight to the point. I'm not going to beat around the bush with this. First things first, we've got our 2 normal tuners. They have to be dragon type. One level 2, one level 1. In other words, Flamvell Guard is mandatory. And you can use either Galaxy Serpent or Guardragon Justicia, whichever one it is. I think that's the name of it. I just prefer Galaxy Serpent just because it was easier to find. Triple Draconet. This is one of the 4 cards you can use to actually start the combo. This is why we have to run 3. Same thing goes for Souleating Oviraptor. This is another way you can start it. Now, if you go with the Souleating Oviraptor method, you want Carboneddon, preferably in your deck. If you have it in your hand, you're going to want another card we'll talk about later. But basically, your main idea would be to send Carboneddon to the graveyard, banish it, and summon Flamvell Guard. Or, if you're using the Draconet method, go straight for Galaxy Serpent. World Chalice Guardragon, you're getting these off of Ebe, so you want 2 of these just in case, because you cannot play them from the hand, unlike the Galaxy Serpent and Flamvell Guard here. Omni Dragon Brotaur, this is to discard a card and search out the Rescue Ferret here. You absolutely want this for your 4-card Sauravis Skuldred, and I'll talk about that later. Speaking of Rescue Ferret, these are the main things you're going to need afterward. Blackwing Steam the Cloak, Doppelwarrior, Glow Up Bulb, and Jet Synchron. These are all to fuel the Synchro plays. Especially once we actually get things going. If you can get these out, and your opponent has not stopped you at this point, you're going to win. For the hand traps, we have Triple Ash Blossom, which is a staple, although Ghost Ogre is starting to become a bit more popular. And we have Triple Sauravis, the Ancient, and Ascended. The only reason this is here is to stop Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler, anything that basically targets. That is it for the monsters. On the spells, we run 14, which is a pretty good number here. Triple Called by the Grave, this is mandatory because this deck is incredibly susceptible to hand traps. We want to stop those ASAP. World Legacy Guardragon, we only need the 1 because we're searching this off of Ebe. And that's just going to let us get the Guardragon engine going, because yes, we will need to rely on the Guardragon engine for the 4-card Sauravis. And I'll talk about that in a bit. Triple Cynet Mining, Triple Fossil Dig. These are your searchers to get Draconet and Oviraptor. Now, if you have Carboneddon and Mining in your hand, and you were able to search out the Draconet, even if your opponent Ash Blossoms the Draconet, you can just banish Carboneddon from your grave and get the Galaxy Serpent out anyway. Now, if you can't afford Cynet Mining, Mathematician is another option as a monster, but Cynet Mining is a good deal better because you can just discard the Carboneddon. However, if you are running Mathematician, you lose the utility tech, which is Raigeki here. You can use other cards, and I'll talk about that in a bit, but if you're running Mathematician, you need a second Carboneddon. With Raigeki, we initially considered Mask of Restrict, and by we I mean me and another guy on another server, because we both worked on this together. Essentially, we considered Mask of Restrict, but with the priority system gone, there's no point, so I figured throw in Raigeki, because it's either they force a negate, or they lose their board, which is a big deal. Speaking of breaking boards, back row is an absolute bitch to this deck. Triple Twin Twisters in the main deck for certain. And for the traps, just 3 Infinite Impermanence. This is mandatory. That is it for the main deck. On to the extra deck. For our links, we've got Mrs. Radiant, which we're going into off of Reproducus. And I'll talk about that later. This is important to search out Sauravis, frickin' Rescue Ferret. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're getting Sauravis and then into the Rescue Ferret is what I'm trying to say. Reproducus, this is what you're linking into off of Ebe and I forget what else it was. The normal monster, I think. Essentially, what you're doing with this is you're going to be changing World Chalice Guardragon's attribute to Earth to go into Mrs. Radiant. That's the main reason this is here. The Guardragons, Albion Pisty, this is just so you can get your monsters out for the 4-card Sauravis Skuldred. Draw 4, shuffle 3 back into the bottom. So unless you're really unlucky and draw all 4 of these cards right here, you're going to win at this point. That's it for the links. On to Synchros. We have Shooting Quasar Dragon and Cosmic Blazar Dragon. These are the big boys. These are what you're ending on all the time. To help get us to these two, we have Eve the World Chalice Justice Char, or you're going by the Japanese name, Eve the World Chalice Miko. This is so you can search out World Legacy Guardragon, and then later get World Chalice Guardragon from your deck and special summon it, and continue plays from there. Tech Genus Hyper Librarian, TG Hyper Librarian for short. One of is mandatory because you're going to want to use this to draw 7 cards, and I'll discuss how later. Double Assault Blackwing Sohaya the Rainstorm. This is especially mandatory just to get both Quasar and Blazar on the field, and I'll discuss how in a bit. Not Sohaya, Sayo the Rainhider. I already mentioned Sohaya the Rainstorm. What am I saying? Basically, Sayo the Rainhider, we're going to be using this, getting steam back, going into the second Sohaya, resurrecting the Sayo, and going from there. For the actual Synchro tuners, I say actual because keep in mind the Assault Blackwings are treated as tuners if you use a Blackwing for Synchro material. Don't know how they decided to do that, but that's just how it works. We have Excel Synchron. This is where you're going to be sending Jet Synchron from your deck to your grave, and going from there. Double Star Shaman to get your Doppelwarrior back. This is critical. And Formula Synchron for that extra draw, making it a +7. That is it for the extra deck. For the side deck, initially I tried Artifact Lancia and Dino Wrestler Pankratops, but I feel like Quasar is one of those decks that really doesn't benefit from those nearly as much as it does Back Row Disruption and alternate hand traps. So, triple Effect Veiler, triple Ghost Ogre, pretty much staples. Now for the utility stuff, Stardust Sea for Divine Dragon is a bit of a spice tech. If you're going to cut one of the two, cut the Quasar. Because, yeah, Blazar is just way too good, and Seafer can actually come in handy on occasion, just as a spice tech if absolutely needed. Foolish Burial, just to send Carboneddon into the grave if needed. Upstart Goblin at the last slot open. Initially, I was considering Monster Reborn, but with Upstart Goblin, my thought process there was, you're already doing so much damage as it is that giving your opponent 1,000 life points doesn't really matter. Triple Hatronade against back row heavy decks like Trap Treks, Sky Strikers, you name it. And Triple Red Reboot, also, again, to stop back row, stop a lot of traps, and also the Salamand great matchup. It's really good for this too. That is it for the main deck, extra deck, and side deck. Next video, I will be showing off the combo, which is going to be very soon because I'm recording all of this at once. So, till then, stay tuned.